Welcome back to Fox News at Night. We will be live right here tomorrow night with special coverage of the Alabama Senate race, so make sure to tune in for the results. In the hours leading up to the vote, there have been strong statements from national Republican leaders against GOP candidate Roy Moore, while top state Republicans appear to stay steady in their support. Here to discuss in a Fox News at Night exclusive what's going to happen tomorrow, Alabama's Secretary of State John Merrill joins us live from Montgomery. Good to see you, Mr. Secretary.
Good to see you, Shannon. Thanks for having me as your guest.
Listen, I know you probably, of all people, are ready for this thing to get wrapped up one way or the other. Did you ever anticipate there would be this much attention on all of your electoral procedures and exactly how this thing's going down?
Absolutely not. And of course, this is the most widely covered event in the electoral process in the history of the state of Alabama. So we're all ready for this to be over.
All right, I'm going to ask you this. First of all, I want to play something from your senior senator there, Richard Shelby. This is what he had to say about what he decided to do.
I couldn't vote for Roy Moore. I didn't vote for Roy Moore, but I wrote in a distinguished Republican name, and I think a lot of people could do that.
All right, so Secretary, what if they do? How does that factor into what happens tomorrow?
Well, we have a procedure for write-ins, and we had actually received a lot of attention about write-ins even before any of this information was introduced. So one of the things that we did to help our people at the local polling sites was to produce a sheet of paper that answered frequently asked questions and also gave clear directions about what an individual needed to do if they wanted to write in a candidate of their choice whose name did not appear on the ballot.
Okay, so depending on how close this is or isn't tomorrow, is there anything that would trigger in Alabama a recount by statutory means, or can a candidate challenge it if this does come down to the wire? How does it work?
Yes, less than 0.5% difference between the two candidates will automatically trigger a recount, which will result in that occurring without either candidate having to pay for it.
Okay. I want to give you a chance to respond to some things that you have been accused of in the media, namely as the Secretary of State discouraging people from voting, particularly minorities and others. I want to read a little bit of this Mother Jones piece. It says, when Alabamians go to the polls on Tuesday to elect Republican Roy Moore or Democrat Doug Jones as their new senator, an untold number will not participate due to the decisions made by Merrill's office, which is in charge of ensuring a fair voting process, and by the Republicans who run the state. These laws and policies overwhelmingly make it harder for minorities to vote. Your response?
Shannon, these people are entitled to their own opinion, but they're not entitled to their own facts. What are the facts? Since January the 19th, 2015, we have registered 865,107 new voters in Alabama, which is unparalleled and unprecedented in the history of the state. As a matter of fact, per capita, no other state in the union has done what we've done in the last 34 months. And let me also add that we now have 3,328,117 registered voters in Alabama, unprecedented and unparalleled in the history of the state. We're making it easy to vote and hard to cheat in Alabama.
Well, and I understand that you also went to Google, I believe, about an ad that you said was misleading or confusing out there. What's the story on that?
We did, Shannon, because there was an ad that was running on behalf of Doug Jones and his team that indicated that if the voter cast their ballot in support of Judge Roy Moore, then that individual would be known in his or her community. And it made a lot of people very uncomfortable. That information was introduced to us, and we began to do some research. We actually contacted the young man who actually prepared the ad, had conversations with him and asked him if he would modify the ad or if he would consider taking the ad down. He indicated that he had absolutely no intention to do that, and at that point we realized we had to do something else. So we went straight to Google and to YouTube, indicated to them why we had concerns about the ad, showed them the facts that were associated with that, and they authorized the removal of that advertisement.
So basically, if you vote tomorrow in Alabama, no one's going to know who you voted for unless you decide to tell them, correct?
No, your ballot is a private matter for you and for only those that you choose to share that with.
All right. Well, we will see you right here tomorrow night at 11 p.m. Eastern. We look forward to, if we have results at the time. If we don't, we'll talk it through with you, and we'll talk about the process of what happens next, certifying whoever the winner is, getting them here to D.C. in the next step. So we look forward to it. We know you got a busy day tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.